Yeah, okay. So Jonathan Campbell actually, at the end of the Fast Crew years, when I was trying to finish up these songs, he actually stepped in and helped me out with a lot of the production. We used his studio that he was working out of. He's just such a good guy, and then when it, it's a very New Zealand thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We had such a great chemistry together that when it came time to me doing new music, I had him in on board from the very beginning. Um, and he's such a cool guy, very passionate, and a hard worker. Didn't have a lot of money to make the record, and so he really bent over backwards to make it happen. Big difference. I mean that was, you know, battling and clashing with someone creatively can be a very hard thing to deal with. You're tiptoeing around egos as well. Everybody had their own opinions and stuff like that, and it did make the creative process very difficult. And because I'm quite bossy, like I like things to go the way I want them to go, automatically I'm going to clash with somebody who says no, I don't want that. And so having control over it, the solo project, I really enjoyed that because I could do whatever I wanted to do, and it came. I wrote the record, and it sounded exactly how I wanted it to sound. For me, that was, obviously it's 5 times as much work, and it's a whole other kettle of fish. But I was ready to jump into that pool. Singing, man. I never sung before. It was I decided to do it, and it's hard. It's really hard. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm still learning, still discovering my voice and still trying to work out how this thing works. For me, that was just it was like, you kind of see people doing it. You're like, yeah, that looks pretty easy. I'm sure I can do that. Till you actually try it, and it's like, oh man, it's really difficult. And so for me, just getting comfortable with singing and getting over that hurdle was a biggie for me back home. Was because I came from MCing, I could do that kind of thing easy. And plus my stage antics, like I get pretty rowdy on stage, and one thing I've had to learn is, I can't control my voice if I'm jumping around like a madman. So just teaching myself how to try and stop at the right points to pitch, and then move around in the sections where I didn't have to worry about it so much. The whole thing was new to me, but exciting as well. It's just so foreign, but I was just really loving it and just wanted to tackle it head on. Oh well, coming from New Zealand, it's very expensive to try and fly everybody around. So I could only afford to bring Ben, the Jam, and we've been fortunate enough to meet these boys, Al on bass and Reed on drums, and John as well, who it couldn't make today, but he plays keys. Al actually put these boys together for us over in LA. So as soon as we arrived, we jumped into rehearsal studio, and then we started doing shows. It just works out a lot cheaper. But I mean, these guys are fantastic, doing such a great job. So we're really lucky to have them on board. Like I said, it was we put the single out, and we just kind of said, well, we'll see what happens here. To be honest, I didn't. There wasn't a lot of thought that went into it. I knew I wanted to make something kick ass. Like I wanted to make something that felt good and felt bigger than what people were used to hearing in New Zealand, production wise and music video wise. And so, that was always something that was in the back of my mind, but there was never anything really. I was never really conscious about how I was going to launch myself. I kind of just did what I felt was right, and then put it out there to see how people would react. That was pretty much what happened. And it's weird because people have this whole thing like, oh, you branded yourself so well, and it's like, I didn't do anything like that. I just did what I thought was the right thing to do, and then put it out there, and that was it. Oh, lady who? Oh yeah, yeah. It was. I mean, things had gone so well, and I was like, seriously, could it go any better? And then the album came out, and it was number one, and straight off the bat, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been grinning from ear to ear ever since. It's just been absolutely amazing. The response back home was huge. The response in Australia was massive. Um, it's just one of those things, it was such a proud moment for me, having to want to release an album, and finally getting my head around it and getting around to doing it, and then it doing well like that, is awesome. It's you can't describe the feeling. It's fantastic. Oh man, I would love that. I would love that, but no, I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe it is. Who knows? Is she in London? All right, we'll ring her up and we'll go and say, I'll go and face to face her. She's pretty scary though. She might do something bad, which might not be a bad thing. Anyway, please continue. Yes, it has. EP. So I'm releasing a stripped back version of the Experiment over here, called the Experiment EP. It comes out 21st of June. It's available on iTunes. I'm actually over here writing a new record, so I signed a Universal Publishing deal, worldwide deal, and it's opened the most amazing doors to collaborate with other songwriters. So I've been over in Atlanta, working with a writer called Manuel Seal, who's did all Mariah Carey stuff. He's absolutely kick-ass. Sold 150 million singles or something like that. Such a laid-back dude too, like so cool. So I've been out with him for a week, and here in New York I'm working with Desmond Child. So I'll be working with him Thursday and Friday actually, to try and write some new tunes, and I'll be back to start recording the record in Atlanta, and I'll be back. I'm doing some writing in LA as well, so I'll be spending a bit of time here, I'd imagine, over the next few months. But it's just cool, like creatively, it's just cool to get into a new zone and experience new cultures and go and see other bands. Like I love to go and watch other bands play. So, yeah, that's the plan.